Paddles on the Namekagon is a summer arts project held at Schaefer Cabin for the youth of Northwest Passage, a residential treatment center serving kids who are struggling with mental health issues. The goal of this project is to connect kids with the ecology, history, and novelty of the Namekagon River through art and exploration. Northwest Passage has witnessed the unique power art holds to serve as a mode of expression for children with severe mental health challenges, and are leaders in innovatively leveraging nature as a stage for healing. Each paddle design, as unique as the young artist who created it, is geometric, non-representational art in the color palette of the Namekagon River, using patterns that are reminiscent of the voyageur and fur trade era. Constructed in 1927, Schaefer Cabin is a portal to the past. It was built as part of the popular middle-class movement of the early 1900s to spend summer away from the city, surrounded by nature and engaged in plenty of outdoor recreation. Due to its architectural integrity and high aesthetic quality, Schaefer Cabin, now owned by the National Park Service, was declared eligible for the National Register of Historic Places in 2002. In 2015, Schaefer Cabin became a host location for a new collaborative artist-in-residence program between the National Park Service and Northwest Passage. Tucked deep in the woods with a view of the Namekagon River through emerald leaves, it is a refuge from daily routine and a home base for new and exciting photography excursions. It is also a gathering place for artists from around the nation to share their craft with the youth of Northwest Passage and draw inspiration from the Namekagon River as they create their own works of art. Time at Schaefer Cabin is distinctly different from time spent elsewhere. It has a certain non-linear fluidity that makes visiting the property especially therapeutic. During the first week of Paddles on the Namekagon project, the students visited Schaefer Cabin for the first time. They explored the natural beauty surrounding the cabin and walked the hiking paths that lead to the Namekagon River, where they took time for a moment of mindfulness and wrote in their journals. They were introduced to the summer art project that would include taking pictures while canoeing down the river and designing and painting their own unique paddles. The next 2 weeks were spent practicing canoeing skills. The kids learned how to steer the canoes with paddles and how to unload and load the canoes as a team. They practiced communicating with one another while on the water and were able to relax and enjoy the fresh water while they swam. During these weeks, they also learned how to use an underwater camera, which would be an important skill in the coming weeks. The students developed confidence and newfound skill while they enjoyed exploring Wisconsin's North Woods. Week 4 was devoted to color inspiration. The kids canoed down the Namekagon River for the first time and took photos of the scenery both above and below the surface. They took special notice of the small plants and bugs and took pictures of them to reveal a whole palette of colors that would go unnoticed at first glance. Due to midsummer heat advisories and thunderstorms, the kids stayed on campus during week 5 and prepared their paddles for painting. They learned how to sand and applied the new knowledge to their work. They sprayed the paddles with water from the Namekagon River to raise the wood grain to help the paint adhere to the paddle. After the sanding process, the students began to tape their designs onto the paddles. During week 6, kids returned to Schaefer Cabin, excited to begin the painting process. They got some pointers on how to paint wood, which is different from painting other surfaces, then began to bring their colorful paddle designs to life. Their palette of colors was sourced from photos they took during week 4. The painting process took several weeks. During week 7, many of the kids decided to pull back the tape to reveal the work they had done so far. Some were happy with their progress and others decided they wanted to make some changes. They discovered that the painting process, like life, involves a lot of trial and error. During week 8, the kids began to work on the final touches of their paddles and think more deeply about how they wanted to build on the designs already in progress and adapt their designs to incorporate new inspiration. Despite some challenges, the kids had a lot of successful moments during the painting process and were beginning to visualize their final projects. By week 9, the students were getting excited to finish the projects they had been working on throughout the summer. They added the final touches to their paddles and lifted the tape off to reveal their finished designs. They felt a sense of accomplishment and expressed a lot of contentment with their finished paddles. As summer began to fade, it was time to say goodbye to Schaefer Cabin. The students cleaned up their workspaces and reflected on the time they spent along the Namekagon River. They reminisced on their joyful memories at the cabin and shared stories of the moments they were challenged. They expressed their appreciation for the experiences and were excited to seal their paddles to make them water resistant and ready for use. The nearly 100 years of history witnessed by the solid pine walls of Schaefer Cabin will not soon be coming to an end. Instead, the cabin will be a place for new memories to be made as Northwest Passage continues their mission of hope and healing.